The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Sicilian Corner, winner of the Italian Heritage Media Award, with your hosts, Tom Zappola and Mike Lamazzo.
Okay, guys, Mikey is MIA again. MIA again.
Well, that's good for me, right?
That's awesome. Hey, we have a great show. Mikey is in Old Saybrook, Connecticut. Welcome to the Sicilian Corner. I am really pleased because I have two people that are very special to the show, to me. Everybody knows Marianne Esposito. She's had the longest cooking show in the country. How many years, Marianne?
30 years coming up right this fall with the release of our new series.
Ciao Italia.
Ciao Italia on PBS, Create, YouTube.
Oh, fantastic! I mean, you've taken over where a lot of other people left off. I mean, you're just here. People just tune in whenever. And when does the new season air?
It begins airing in October, but each PBS station, when they get it, they put it in their program schedule.
Gotcha.
And then they air it whenever. But it repeats, for 3 years, for a 3-year run.
That's fantastic.
So it's out there for 3 years.
Right.
And then we are also pleased to have a very dear friend who we've known each other now. I mean, the first time was like 15 years ago.
Yes.
Deidre Randall. Deidre is the president of Peter E Randall Publishers. Ellen and I have been blessed to work with Deidre and her staff over the last 15 years for the books that we've written. Because of her, because of Ellen, because of Grace, and everybody else. Me, just a little contribution. We've won quite a few awards, and we're very, we're very proud of that over the years. So Deidre's here. We're going to talk about. The reason Deidre's here is because we are going to talk about Marianne's new book, which, by the way, I need to get a copy of this as soon as it comes out.
Okay.
Ellen and I are really into veggies now and eating healthy.
Yes.
And this book, just covers it all.
Yes. Actually, it does cover it all. From antipasto right down to dessert.
Yes.
It's in this book.
So let me ask you this question. Ellen and I, for the entire time we've been married, our cocktail hour is at 5 o'clock. We have usually cheese and crackers. We have a martini, and we enjoy each other.
Yeah.
Every day, because she's running around, I'm running around, and we really spend about 45 minutes just talking and enjoying. I'm getting tired of cheese and crackers.
Yeah.
So, are there a couple of good apps in here that will go with a martini?
Absolutely, there are. But you know what? I've got to get with it because I don't have this martini hour that you have.
Oh, you have to. You have to carve out time.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to carve out. There are days, and Ellen and I, Deirdre, you know this. Ellen and I, we work. I'm on the 3rd floor in my office. She's on the 2nd floor. And sometimes I don't see her till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's just the way it is. She's busy, I'm busy, and we bump into each other at the refrigerator sometimes at noon. That's what we do. But anyway, so I'm really, really pleased. We're going to get into this, talk about the book, talk about the show. Deirdre, I want to talk about Peter E Randall Publishers.
Sure.
For those aspiring authors, this company, as I said, for us personally, has made all the difference in the world. This is the company that you really want to chat with, sit down with. The good thing about Peter E. Randall is that they will walk you through the whole process. And the staff that Deidre has is absolutely phenomenal. The design people, the editor. I love Zach. He's a good guy. All of that. So you've got a great staff. So
I do.
We'll talk about that. Let's talk about the book.
Sure.
First of all, how long did it take you to write this book?
Well, this book emerged during the pandemic. So when we were all kind of closeted down at home, I decided that was the best time for me to get started on this vegetable book. This is a book that anyone can use. It's not just for someone who has a plot of land and they're going to plant vegetables. This is a dual-purpose book. It has over 112 recipes dedicated to vegetables done Italian style, but it also helps you if you do want to do a garden, how do you do it? And I talk to you about that in very simple terms. Because, I learned everything I know about the garden from my husband, Gaetano, who's had a garden ever since he was in medical school. Yeah. So this was an opportune time during the pandemic to really focus on it. And it comes at a time when people are thinking more about eating healthy, where does your food come from? All of that, and how can I kind of streamline now what we have in terms of spending money for groceries? How can I be more, economical at home?
But not only that, you're bringing up a good point because. Before we went on the air, I was telling you that Ellen and I are really into gardening now and vegetable gardens.
Yeah.
Prior to the pandemic, that would not have happened because I'd be going to my office. Now that we're home and we work out of the house, Ellen will say to me, I'm going outside for 2 hours to do some weeding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the garden.
Yeah.
And so that really makes it fun.
It makes it fun. And also, I had to realize when I was, writing this book, that not everybody has a plot of land in their backyard. So what can you do? Well, you can always do container gardening. You were telling me how much you can get out of a small container.
Yes.
So container gardening is for everybody. If you go to Italy, you'll see this everywhere. On balconies.
Sure. That's what my brother does.
Right.
Yes.
They've got the basil growing. They've got the tomatoes.
That's what he does, right on his porch.
Fig trees coming out of planters in small spaces. And even if that weren't an option, you always have the opportunity to join a community garden where you could have your own little plot and grow your own vegetables. Or even if that isn't an option, guess what? Cook in season, shop in season, go to your farmers markets and get vegetables in season.
Very good point. Deidre, now you've done some gardening recently. I follow you on Facebook.
Yes.
You're doing all kinds of stuff.
I know.
Making jams.
And milking goats and making cheese. But the idea for this book, Marianne and I were discussing a number of options of what we could, and we talked about different things, and she kept saying, I do want to do the vegetables. And I said, what about the gardening? Because sure enough, as soon as we had pandemic, I had my 29-year-old moved home, like a lot of people's, and he needed something to do. And so he was my willing accomplice, and he put together a small raised bed. It was like 5 by 5 or something, and we just put a few things. So this year I have 1 yellow tomato plant, 1 goat horn pepper plant, a bunch of beets and cucumbers and a few herbs. And it's something fun to pick every day. Cucumbers are always producing tomatoes. And so I just go out there and check every night and water it in the morning. It's easy.
Marianne, I want to ask you, I don't know what direction we're going in with our garden. We're heavy on tomatoes, like I told you.
Yeah, right.
It was the yield has been amazing.
Well, this is the year for tomatoes, yes. Yeah.
Peppers have been a little shaky for us.
Well, peppers like hot weather, so this is we're getting a lot of peppers right now.
Basil has really taken a beating because of the heat, and we're trying to stay ahead of it.
Oh, but I tell you in the book what you can do about
that's what I need.
Lush basil.
That's okay. I need that.
Yeah.
So what else? Cucumbers are pretty easy?
Oh, simple. But you've got to go out there.
Got to water them.
You've got to water them. They require a lot of water. In this book, I tell you, in the beginning, I start out telling, you want to grow a garden? Well, here's what you don't want to do. So I'll give you a bunch of tips about, first of all, know where you're going to plant the garden. It's got to have at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight every day. You have to have a water source somewhere, whether that's soaker hoses or you're going to be putting in a sprinkler system. Yep. So, yes, there's a lot of things that you need to think about before you even commit a plant to the ground.
Interesting. We are chatting with Marianne Esposito and Deidre Randall. This is going to be, we got a lot to cover here. Let's talk about the show, first of all, if we may. So you've been on the air for 30 years.
30 years.
PBS all over the country.
Yes.
Do you get tired of it?
Nope.
You really?
You know what? This is, Italy.
I do.
And you know how complicated the whole history of the food of Italy is. 30 years is nothing. You could do, if I had the longevity for another 30 years, you still wouldn't cover it all. So every year, I tackle another part of Italy that maybe people don't know about. Yeah. So that always gives me enough, enough fodder to do more shows.
Do you have a favorite food region of Italy personally?
Well,
and you can share that with us. There's no one listening or
this
watching.
is the Sicilian hour? Is this the
Sicilian corner? It is.
Sicilian corner with the Sicilian hour? Well, half my family comes from Sicily,
I know,
so what do
I
you
know.
think?
That was kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, it was
I knew
a loaded
that.
question. But, yeah.
Okay, so we have to get into one. I said just one thing I want to discuss with you. My sugo.
Your sugo.
Now, first of all, I am thrilled that you are in agreement that anybody that calls it gravy should be excommunicated from the Catholic Church. Right? That's number one. But here's my question.
Yeah.
I throw everything but the kitchen. This is my grandmother's recipe, who passed it on to my mother, who passed it on to us, and I tweaked it a little bit.
Okay.
I put everything but the kitchen sink
In your sugo.
in my sugo.
Okay.
The question is, you know what, for me, that makes the difference? I use it the next day. In other words, I make it, I simmer it for 5 hours, let it cool, and then I throw it in the fridge overnight. And then when we serve it the next day, it seems as though the flavor of all the meat really gets into it. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, is this blasphemous? I do add sugar.
No, that's not blasphemous at all, because sugar kind of tames the acidity of the tomatoes. A lot of people, will poo-poo that idea of adding sugar. You can add sugar or not. It depends on the quality of the tomatoes, too. If your plum tomatoes are low acid, you don't need to add sugar. But many Italian cooks add a pinch of sugar. I see this in Italy all the time. So that's
makes me feel
okay.
good.
You're still golden.
Good, that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
See, that was a big part of this interview today. Tell us about the Marianne Esposito Foundation. I don't want to forget that.
Right. Well, the foundation was established, I want to say now this is 9 years going into it. It is a foundation that is specifically set up to help culinary students. So we help with their scholarships. And each year we designate certain institutions that are going to receive grants from the Marianne Esposito Foundation for these students to carry on and receive their culinary degrees. Now, of course, we're partial to Italian, but it's for any student who is matriculating in an approved program, either at the high school level or at the college level.
Very good.
And I would love it if people would go to our website, ciaoitalia.com, find the foundation page, see what we do, and help us by making a donation to the foundation.
That's great stuff. Wonderful stuff. Let's get back to the book. First of all, the book is not available yet, correct?
Right.
Why don't you tell us about that, Deidre?
Right. November 15th is the publication date. So you can place an order, and you'll get it faster.
Yeah.
And very often we see a lot of books pre-ordered by Marianne's fans. So they can go to her website, and there's a link there to pre-order the book.
Now, once the book comes out, will it be available just on the site, or will Amazon also?
It'll be available in bookstores, on Amazon.
Website.
And, right. And the show airs through Amazon Prime now, too. So the
I
television
did not realize
show.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tune in and watch whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool, actually.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, how do we get that? How do we get on Amazon Prime? Okay, so let's talk about, can you tell us some of your favorite recipes in the book? Can you just rattle off a few?
There's so many. One of my favorites is one that my mother always did, which is the cavatelli with the broccoli rape. You know that.
Oh, God, I love cavatelli.
Yes.
Does the cavatelli you're talking about have a little ricotta in it, or no?
You can make them either way. You can do it in Italy. It's traditional to do it with just flour and water and salt. But I'm glad you turned to this page, because these are my very favorite tomatoes. These
Those
are
are
the
so
Piagnolo
delicious.
tomatoes.
What are they called?
They're called Piagnolo del Vesuvio. Because these are cherry tomatoes that are elongated, but they have a little teardrop at the end. And in Italy, you'll see these, they string them up on like hemp rope, and then they start to shrivel. And they use them when tomatoes are not in season anymore to make sauces. Now, this tomato is just, I don't give this one to anyone. You didn't get any.
I did.
You did.
I did. You gave me a few.
Did I give you a few?
I ate every one with a blessing. Oh, they're delicious.
But, I mean, they're gorgeous to look at.
They are.
And this is the thing. This is the beauty of Italian food is that if you start with quality ingredients, you don't need to do much to it. So for this
Good
tomato,
point. That's a very good point.
you don't have to do much to it. So for this tomato, if you want to make what I call a blistered tomato sauce, you take these tomatoes and you cut them in half lengthwise. Put a little olive oil and garlic in a pan. You get that going just so the garlic flavors the oil. Then you add these tomatoes, cut up, that's it, salt, pepper, and a little anchovy. Anchovy makes all the difference.
I'm a big anchovy
Right.
guy.
Yeah, me too.
You cook this
big
for a
anchovy.
few minutes, add some parsley, the pasta's cooking, you're done.
That's really cool.
There's no slaving. I don't
Yeah.
understand people who go to the store and buy jarred sauces.
I know, and
It
you know what they
drives me
do?
crazy.
Yeah, I know what they do, too. Right. They think
And it's costing them a fortune. This is
it's easier, but in reality, it really isn't.
It's not.
Because the way you have to enhance that, right? I mean,
not only that, but think about what's in there. You've got a lot of sodium.
Yeah.
You've got some artificial coloring.
Yeah.
This is the real thing.
well, for our viewers and listeners, just to give you an idea of the content of the book. Again, we're not talking, lamb chops. We're not talking steaks. We're talking some wonderful veggies. I mean, stuffed cucumber boats. Marinated yellow beet salad, Roman-style artichokes, cauliflower, spinach and potato gnocchi with mascarpone cheese sauce. There's a little of everything. Hot anchovy garlic sauce. You know what my favorite dish is?
No, what?
The most peasant dish in Sicily, I think. Pasta.
Gonzarde.
Well, with anchovy and breadcrumbs.
Okay, yes.
So that's all.
Yeah.
Just some linguine, and I brown up some breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Melt the anchovy,
Yeah.
extra virgin olive oil,
I'm there.
and then I throw the pasta in, toss it. Ellen doesn't want any part of it.
Okay.
But so if we decide that we can't, what we're not going to, what she doesn't want to have, or what I'm going to have for dinner, she'll say, "Why don't you make your pasta and anchovies? I'll make myself a sandwich."
Yeah.
And that's what,
Oh, she's missing out.
that's
Yeah.
what she does.
She's missing
But
out.
anyway, there's some great, it just goes on, and fried zucchini balls, farro tot with mixed herbs. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. How about Mom's upside down stuffed peppers?
God. Yeah, this is
Very moist.
gold. The other thing, Deidre, is, one thing that Ellen and I have been blessed with, we've had, I think the images in our books are pretty darn good.
Yes.
We've had some great photography, just like this. Who did your photography?
John Hessian.
yeah.
Yeah. He's a professional photographer. Marianne's worked with him for years. He works for a number of publications, New Hampshire Home Magazine.
He did my last book.
He did the last book.
Very, very,
Yep.
very good.
Yeah.
Really wonderful.
He's a real perfectionist. And it's kind of like eat off the pages for
Yeah,
us,
I mean,
right?
it's great. Are you
Yeah.
kidding?
Yeah.
All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We are chatting with Marianne Esposito from Ciao Italia. I mean, she's the first woman, the first lady of Italian cooking now in the United States. That's my opinion.
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you.
And Deidre Randall, president of Peter E Randall Publishers. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
Looking for that something special? All of us here at the Sicilian Corner suggest trying Ristorante Uno, located at 119 Salem Street in Boston's historic North End. For the most exquisite dining experience in an intimate setting that serves authentic regional Italian cuisine and features old country service. Try Ristorante Uno. Did we mention their award-winning wine cellar? Ristorante Uno, 119 Salem Street in Boston's historic North End. Call 617-573-9406 for reservations. That's 617-573-9406. Tell them the boys from the Sicilian Corner sent you.
Today, Lawrence General Hospital has affiliations with leading Boston academic medical centers. Top specialists from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center and Floating Hospital for Children at Tufts Medical Center work with our local doctors to bring world-class care close to home. Today, amazing partnerships are happening at Lawrence General Hospital. To learn more, visit lawrencegeneral.org/today.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin-crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine is pleased to announce the opening of their American College of Radiology accredited MRI unit at their location at 16 Pelham Road in Salem, New Hampshire. So now, in addition to receiving the best orthopedic care in the Merrimack Valley, as well as physical and occupational therapy at Optima Sports Therapy and Rehab, you can also have your MRI, all in one convenient location. The doctors and staff of Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine have been dedicated to providing outstanding medical care to the Merrimack Valley in southern New Hampshire since 1984. Located on Route 97, just off Exit 2 from Route 93 North, on the second floor of the Workout Club of Salem. You deserve the best care, and that's exactly what you'll get from the board-certified surgeons at Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine. Please call 603-898-2244 to schedule an appointment.
A loyal sponsor for the Sicilian Corner is Hilton Oil Company. Hilton Oil has been located right across from the South Lawrence Common since 1932 at 101 South Union Street. Hilton Oil Company specializes in 24-hour burner service, oil deliveries, including automatic deliveries serving all the Merrimack Valley area, plus portions of southern New Hampshire. If you want your car fixed right the first time, bring it to Hilton's state-of-the-art service station. Remember, Hilton's is also a Mass State Inspection Station. Hilton Oil Company, 101 South Union Street in Lawrence. Call 978-687-9793.
This is Cindy
and Mike Kunstler,
owners of Grazie Italian Restaurant in Dracut, Massachusetts,
the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
In addition to spectacular views overlooking our golf course, we have an incredible Italian chef, Benny Curti.
Benny was born and raised in Italy and came to be our executive chef in 2013.
Benny is so passionate about cooking. If you haven't experienced the food at Grazie Italian Restaurant, you're truly in for a treat.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club.
Really, we should go.
I tell you, it's an excellent restaurant.
Cool.
I know they are a sponsor of the show, but we're really particular. One thing we're particular about restaurants that come on this.
Where's Dracut?
Dracut is about a half hour north of here.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's all?
Yeah, it's next to like Seattle. No, I'm kidding.
Londonderry. Is it near Londonderry?
No, it's up near.
Wait a minute.
I live in Dracut. It's 12 minutes away.
See, that's what I thought.
Oh, it's Dracut, New Hampshire.
No, Mass.
Oh, it's
Dracut.
Mass.
Yeah.
But anyway, Grazie
We'll go.
Superb food.
Cool.
Let us know when you're going because we'll tip them off that you're coming.
Okay.
All right, so listen, Mike asked me to do this Butcher Boy thing because I know Butcher Boy, our good friends at Butcher Boy, Tommy and Mean, they're having a contest. And by the way, Tommy's been a little under the weather, David, our best under
like
the
my
weather.
granddaughter.
Over the past few summers, their customers have amazed the people there with mouth-watering photos of their summer dinners on the grill. So this summer, the people at Butcher Boys, they want to do something a little different. Whether you have grilled, cooked, or simply enjoy delicious meals, fill up a cooler with steak tips, marinated chicken, and sausage for your week. Take a picture of it. Take a picture of the products that you have bought there, and they are going to pick 3 winners based on the photography that you send in. All you have to do is submit a photo showing your Butcher Boy bags or packaging at your location. The winner will be selected and will receive a $300 Butcher Boy gift card. Second place winner, a $200 Butcher Boy gift card. And third place, a $100 Butcher Boy gift card. All you have to do is go to the Butcher Boy site for the guidelines. Now, I know Lamazzo has taken 400 pictures and submitted them.
Yeah, yes.
That's what Mike does, right? I mean, he's taking pictures. He goes, you know what he does, though? I'll tell you what he does. I know Mike. He goes into Butcher Boys, and he takes a picture. He doesn't buy the stuff.
Oh.
He just takes a picture of it and then submits it. That's what he's doing. Anyway, so you can go to the Butcher Boys site, and we can enter it, and I hope you win. Yeah. Deidre, let's talk about Peter Randall Publishers. Can you give us a little background? Your dad started the company.
He did in 1970, so we're 50 years and running now. I've been publishing for almost 25 years, and we focus on a lot of history, photography, illustrated books, hardcover, full color. We do a lot of that, and now we do children's books as well. And I've just been blessed to work with some wonderful authors and wonderful staff. My father and I have found these amazing editors and designers and indexers and proofreaders, and these are the people that they've spent their lives doing this. So my editors' average experience is 20 years in the field. Designers are now over 20 years they've been doing this. One teaches design at UNH. So it's, I'm lucky. I have a great team, and I have wonderful ideas from these authors that you were 2 of my favorites, wonderful ideas that it's a pleasure to create a book out of these ideas.
Well, you know something, Marianne, you may be able to attest to this. When we published our first, Ellen and I, when we wrote the first book, the T206 collection,
yes,
that was back in 2009, I believe.
Yep.
And we submitted that manuscript to every trade publisher you could think of. And we got, no, you have no track record, reject, which happens.
Yeah.
So we decided we had enough faith in the book, and obviously with the guidance of Joe Orlando, we had enough faith in the book to put up our own money and self-publish the book.
Yeah.
We hit a home run.
Yeah.
The book won awards. So now it's time for the second book. And we got contacted by a couple of trade publishers.
Right.
Hey, why don't you write your next book
with us?
You know what we said? You know the company.
Yeah.
They called us up and we said, no, we're not interested. You wouldn't give us, that's me being Sicilian, of course. No, you didn't give us a chance the first time, and we have enough faith in investing our own money. And guess what? The return on our investment is a hell of a lot better than what you could give us. That's exactly what we told them. So with that being said, point being is don't get frustrated if you're an author and you get rejected by a trade publisher, the biggest ones in the country. 99% of the people do.
They do.
Point being is that if you look at this book right here and you check out the books that we've written and you go on to the Peter E. Randall Publishers website, award-winning books from the Independent Publishing Association, the Ben Franklin Awards, all of that, right? And the quality of the books exceeds what you can buy in from a lot of the big trade publishers.
Yes.
I mean, that's the fact.
Yeah. And we offer trade distribution. You don't need to work with that necessarily, Tom, but a lot of my authors are saying, how can I get this great book we've published out to the public? So we have trade level distribution. So meaning there are salespeople out there helping, and there's a professional warehouse that one we use is in Keene, New Hampshire. And so it's a good local spot, but it's got national reach.
Right.
And actually internationally, you can sell your books overseas too.
And you know what the other thing is, which I think is a real, and again, chime in here. Your company is a great publishing company for niche book authors.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I agree with that.
I mean, we're baseball collectibles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your food.
Right.
Yeah.
People that specialize in Lake Winnipesaukee. You know what I mean? Right?
Yes.
And
People who want to keep their own rights.
Correct.
Yes.
I don't take your rights.
No.
So that's a big difference. And I've had people come to me and say, I've got 3 trade publishers that want my book, but they're going to take the rights, and I don't want to give the rights away. I'd like to go with you. And it works out better for them in the long run.
Worked out great. As a matter of fact, Ellen and I, after we exhausted the first book, we sold the rights to somebody else.
Yeah. And then they published an updated edition with us.
They put out a second publication. So
But what I like too is the personal attention that you get.
Absolutely.
You know, I've been with big houses.
Yeah.
And you're just another number in a big sea of authors. Yeah. But with Deidre, you get very nice personal attention. I can call up.
Absolutely.
And I can ask a question. I couldn't do that, with a lot of these other trades.
She has more conversations with my wife than I do.
Well, Ellen and you make a great team, but I love working with her. And one of the things I enjoy is the collaboration with the authors. I meet so many interesting authors. And the main thing they're coming to me for, obviously, is a book, but we end up sharing a lot more. Yeah. It's really wonderful.
And I agree with that. So if you're a writer out there, and just don't get discouraged, try it. Give
me a call.
Yeah, go onto the website. You don't have to have 20 million books printed.
No.
You can have 500 books. You can have 1,000, 10,000, 50,000, whatever you need.
I just did a limited edition of 200 books for a rabbi, a special edition that they needed done. There are all kinds of projects that we do, and we do books for genealogists. We do books for folks like you who print large quantities, but we also do children's titles. Some of those we print 5,000 of. I've got a new children's author right now who was featured on the cover of one of the National Review magazines. Her art was so strong. So it's a great opportunity to sort of get your foot in, and we provide a lot of support and guidance,
photography
advice.
too. I mean, you guys specialize in photography books too, right?
Yes, Peter's a photographer, my father, so he had a number of award-winning photography books, and that's brought a lot of photographers to my doorstep.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah, we did a book for a gentleman Roland Sherman, who took the cover of the Bob Dylan Blue album. He was a Life magazine photographer. He was the first Peace Corps photographer, and he had never been able to find a publisher that would take his work on. And I was shocked. The book sold out so quickly, we've reprinted it twice.
Wow.
And he was one that the trades were saying, we're not really interested. You're sort of bygone. And he said, what do you mean? He took the pictures of Bobby Kennedy right before we lost him, and they were locked in the Life magazine vault.
Wow.
They were released 50 years later, and trade publishers were not interested in that. But when he came to me, and he had a documentary being produced on PBS, and he needed a book. Okay. So it's amazing to me how the trades, how cautious they've become. And it doesn't mean, if you're paying for your book to be published, doesn't mean your book's not good at all.
Oh, God, no,
not
absolutely.
Not at all.
I'm telling
you.
In fact,
I'm very picky.
Yeah,
so I won't publish it if it's not good enough.
Trust me, we learned that a long time ago.
Yeah.
We learned that, there's a friend of ours that wrote a bestseller, and we were doing a book signing down in Connecticut at the Foxwoods Casino.
Yes.
And she's a friend, and she was next to us doing a book signing. And it was a bestseller. Yeah. But when we started talking, it was a book on Whitey Bulger. When we started talking, and she asked how many books we had printed, and we talked, and what the return on our investment was versus the return on her investment, it was her mouth dropped, just dropped. So, right. Marianne, how many books have you written?
This is my 14th book.
14 books. God bless you.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
That's what I was saying earlier. 14 books, you think, well, you've covered it all, but you really haven't.
But when do you find the time?
I make the time. This is what I do. I mean, I have to have a book for my show.
Yeah.
I have to have a premium item, but that isn't the primary reason why I write it. I write these books for me because it's part of my DNA. It's my Italian legacy. So,
where do you get Listen, you have a cooking show that is wildly successful. Where do you get the inspiration for a particular dish? Do you read something, or do you think? It comes from all over.
It comes from a lot of sources. Mainly being in Italy a lot. I travel to Italy at least twice a year.
Yeah.
I'm going in a few weeks again to Umbria with a cooking group. I research a lot. A lot of things come from my family. My two grandmothers, who were professional cooks, actually, at a time when that was very unusual for women. And my mother was a dietitian.
Yep.
So, and I grew up with all of this stuff, especially, heavy on the Southern Italian. But I have, when I first started my show, I probably leaned more to the Southern Italian aspect of Italian regional foods. But now, I've covered the whole map.
You're all over the place.
Yeah, I've evolved with the cooking.
And there's a big difference. There's a tremendous difference from the Tuscan area down to, Syracuse.
Yes. Most people think that Italian food is defined by, deep dish Chicago-style pizza, meatballs, spaghetti, and that's it. And pepperoni pizza, which doesn't exist in Italy.
In Italy.
Yeah.
Neither does chicken parm.
No, chicken parm. Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah.
No. So I've opened their eyes, I think, somewhat to experiencing what is Italian regional food. That's what these books are all about.
All right, so I've got a couple of questions regarding ingredients. How important, and can you recommend? You may or may not be able to do this. And a really good quality extra virgin olive oil. How important is it in what you're cooking?
Extra virgin olive oil is the denominator for Italian food. If you look at the Italian food pyramid, that is the number one cooking oil that you should be using. However, you have to be clever as to how you use it, because depending on where you are in Italy, oils taste different because the terroir is different. The olives are different. The combination of olives going into making olive oil is different. You want to do a little research. Extra virgin olive oil means these olives have come from the very first pressing of the olives. They're cold pressed. And they have to have, by law, less than 1% acidity. That is what defines what an extra virgin olive oil is. But do all extra virgin olive oils taste the same? No. If you're in the South, let's say Sicily, those olive oils have a peppery aftertaste. They're denser. Mm-hmm. They're very, very fruity. You want a Ligurian olive oil in the north, it's going to be much lighter, not as peppery. It all depends on where you are. So when you're cooking, extra virgin olive oil's number one enemy is heat. That's why you always see olive oil when you buy it in a bottle.
Right.
Doesn't like light. You don't ever put it near the stove or keep it where it's hot. That will destroy it. So for extra virgin olive oil, you want to use this more like a condimento, a condiment. So it's an afterthought. You've grilled the vegetables, you pour on the extra virgin.
But what about the cooking part of it?
Well, I'm getting to that part. I haven't gotten to that part yet. So extra virgin for salads, for drizzling on cooked meats, fish, that kind of thing. Cooking. You can use an extra virgin olive oil if you're going to do something like a light saute, because as I said, heat destroys the flavor of olive oil.
Okay.
So you don't want to do deep frying with this.
Right.
You would never do that. That's why you always see, if you travel in Italy, you see fields and fields of sunflowers. And you say to yourself, why do they have all these sunflowers? Well, they have all the sunflowers because they make seed oil out of it. And that's what they will use for, deep frying. Think of this too. I mean, if you wanted to deep fry with olive oil, think of how saturated that
Good
food
point.
would taste, and it would be very expensive to do it. So use your head, use the right olive oil for whatever it is you're making. Go light on the saute if you're going to cook with extra virgin olive oil. And for deep frying and those other kinds of cooking, use a seed oil, like a sunflower oil.
Canola?
I wouldn't.
No.
Go
I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm curious. All right. So, you don't want to share a particular olive oil with us that you particularly like? There
are a lot of olive oils
okay, so you mix it up.
I mix it up, but I do have a friend in Providence who is the importer for Dell'Orto, which is spelled DELL''ORTO, which means from the garden. And Dennis Lurjo is the president of that company, and they import his family's olive oil, which comes from Salerno, and that's a very nice olive oil. You can buy it online, but there are a lot of
we use when we had All Things Sicilian, we had had an import company for years, and we were using Barbera oil. It's a Sicilian oil, and we still use it. I think it's very good.
Oh, good.
It's the Barbera family in Tricastagni, just outside of the town of Three Chestnuts. It's a good oil. All right, listen, we're going to take a break. We have one more segment. We are chatting with Marianne Esposito. Her new book is going to be out pretty soon. I want that book. And Deidre Randall, president of Peter E Randall Publishers. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
This is David from the Sicilian Corner. You know, Mike, Tom, and I love to go to Salisbury Beach, but we love different things and we can never agree. Tom likes the casual family-style dining with great Italian cuisine, Capri Seaside Italian Grill. Me, I love the elegant romantic vibe, Sea Glass with the amazing view and terrific menu with prices that'll make it the place you want to visit every week. Mike loves a drink in his hand and a cool ocean breeze right off the surf and the rhythms of an even cooler reggae band. We all know Mike loves Bob Marley tunes at Surfside. Who doesn't love a great show? National acts, comedy, regional favorites in the beautiful and intimate Blue Ocean Music Hall. Lucky for us, Atlantic Hospitality is the host of all these great places, and they treat everyone like they're Mike Lamazzo. And best of all, we never have to choose. Park the car once and all of this fun is right at your fingertips. We can have it all in the heart of Salisbury Beach. Find out about all the ways you can have a great night at Salisbury Beach at northshorepavilion.com. And Mike, Tom, and I will see you there.
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
Hi, this is Mike, and I would like to tell you about the Deborah Care Law Offices, a firm that is focused on estate planning, probate, trust administration, and elder law issues. You will feel comfortable discussing important issues concerning both you and your loved ones, as well as having the information you need to make an informed decision about your family's future. How do I know? Because I'm a client of Dan Deborah Care. If you want to have peace of mind knowing that your loved ones are protected, call Deborah Care Law Offices today. In Massachusetts, 978-686-4645. In New Hampshire, 603-894-4141.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
This is Cindy,
And Mike Kunstler,
owners of Grazie Italian Restaurant in Dracut, Massachusetts.
the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
In addition to spectacular views overlooking our golf course, we have an incredible Italian chef, Benny Curti.
Benny was born and raised in Italy and came to be our executive chef in 2013.
Benny is so passionate about cooking. If you haven't experienced the food at Grazie Italian Restaurant, you're truly in for a treat.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club.
What restaurant is that?
Okay, we are back. The restaurant is at the, what's the name of the country club, David? I'm sorry. Four Oaks Country Club. It's a beautiful, beautiful facility. The food, I tell you, the food is really good. This Benny Curto, he's right from Italy. He's a wonderful, wonderful chef, and he runs roughshod over all the other people cooking there. Very good. Very, very, very good. So you should check it out. I'll make some contacts. All right, I want to ask you, what is your one personal favorite Italian dish?
Oh, probably cacio e pepe.
Which is?
You don't know cacio e pepe? Come on. Cacio e pepe translates to cheese and pepper. It's a Roman dish, so it's again 3 or 4 ingredients. That's it. So it's spaghetti with black pepper and pecorino cheese, grated pecorino cheese.
And that's it.
Cacio e pepe.
A little olive oil on top.
A little olive oil.
See, that's the stuff that I love.
Yeah.
But see, I would throw some breadcrumbs on top.
Well, you could do that, but a cacio e pepe is a classic Roman dish, and to get it right, you have to make sure you use the right ingredients.
What do you use for pasta?
Well, there are lots of great pastas out there. Del Verde is good.
No, but I'm saying,
right?
what you linguine?
No, spaghetti.
Spaghetti?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, cacio e pepe. And then you want coarse black pepper. You want real pecorino cheese, pecorino romano cheese. And, there's a lot of different cheeses that are pecorino cheeses, but you want to make sure you see that stamped on the rind because there's a lot of fake cheese out there.
Can we talk about that? Because you're bringing up a tremendous point. And listen, nothing against Market Basket or Shaw's or any of those places, but you really do have to be careful in the cheese that you buy, correct?
Correct. You would never buy it grated. That's number one. That's my number one tip. You never buy an Italian cheese grated that you're going to use for pastas. For instance, a Parmigiano Reggiano, you want to buy in a wedge because there are lots of fake grated cheeses out there.
And they're processed.
Yes. And same goes for the pecorino. You want to look on the rind where it has the words pecorino. On the rind of Parmesan, it says Parmigiano Reggiano. These cheeses are made according to to Italian law. So they have to come up to certain standards in order to be the quality that they are. And yes, they're expensive, but a little goes a long way. It's surprising, a lot of people don't know the difference between what a Parmigiano Reggiano is and a pecorino cheese. One, Parmigiano Reggiano is
Parmigiano
Reggiano is what kind of cheese? Tell me.
It's a
Okay,
I eat it all the time. I mean,
it's a cow's milk cheese.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And pecorino cheese is a
duck.
No, sheep's milk.
Sheep.
Oh my God, we got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I eat it.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting, though. I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, and you should know that because that's going to determine how that dish tastes. For instance, you're making a dish, a cacio e pepe, you're using pecorino cheese. So you got to say to yourself, me as a cook, I got to remember, don't add a lot of extra salt.
See, I go to Borelli's and Tom's got these beautiful wedges, and I'll say, give me a half a pound of that, give me a pound of that.
You do it the easy way.
Yeah, it's delicious.
But if you've been reading my books over the years and watching Ciao Italia, you would know this.
By the way, I was remiss in not mentioning the title of the book. The title of the book is Ciao Italia, Plant, Harvest, Cook.
Yes.
I mean, this is it. This is going to be my Bible. I'm telling you.
It's so simple. You plant, harvest,
and cook. And even if you don't plant and harvest, you can still cook.
I wish, I mean, we talked about asking people to send us pictures of their little gardens or containers, whatever you've got. If you can grow one tomato plant, you can enjoy that all summer.
Absolutely. See, David, this book is right up your alley. I mean, you're into this stuff.
I am.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's talk about cagottulis. Now, artichokes.
What did you call them?
We call them, in Sicily, in the deep south, they call them cagottulis. I know it's cacciofis, but that's what my grandmother and my mother always called it cagottulis.
Okay.
Why, I don't know. The question is, do you stuff yours? And can you give us a good recipe? Because mine are very boring.
Carciofi?
Carciofi,
yes. Well, first of all, I talk about these in the book because we live in New Hampshire, right? And growing artichokes is, let's say that it's an Olympic feat to get them in New Hampshire because you need a certain number of days where the temperatures hover around 55 degrees. So got to call up Mother Nature and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to plant artichokes, so could you make sure that the temperatures are going to stay consistent for the next 55 days? Difficult to do. But I said to my husband, Gaetano, I said, Guy, I want artichokes. Okay. So we put in the plants and we babied them and watched them, and I never thought we would get them. And then lo and behold, there they were. Beautiful.
Really?
Artichokes. There's a picture of it in the book. But I love to do them in a number of ways. The Roman way to do this is to deep fry the entire artichoke so that it's deep fried, and what emerges is this open flower because an artichoke is part of the thistle family. Flower.
So you just drop it in?
You drop it in oil, And it's nicely, crispy golden brown, and then you just pick off the leaves and you dip them in olive oil and salt. That's very typical in Rome. But then you travel to other parts of Italy. This is why things are so regional, why I could be doing this for another 100 years. You get to the south, and you're stuffing these artichokes in between the leaves with breadcrumbs and cheese and herbs, mint.
Right.
You're putting them in a casserole. You add a little bit of oil and wine to the base of the casserole. You put them in the oven, and you have these beautiful steamed artichokes. We eat the entire thing. A lot of people throw away those outer leaves, but I tell you, you take off the first 2 layers. That's okay.
And you can just snip them. That's a tip. That's what I do.
That's right. And
I snip them.
Cook the whole thing. I give you a tip on how to get that choke out without killing yourself, because that is hard to do. But in the book, I tell you what easy ways to do that. So
you cook the stems too?
Oh, the stems are delicious.
I do too.
Peel the stem first a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't throw that away. The entire thing is edible except for the
fur,
the choke. Yeah. So in the book, I titled the chapter dealing with this, edible flour. So
yes.
Listen, by the way, you brought me a couple little tidbits here.
Well, you thought it was wine. But
I did, but no, this is.
Isn't that a beautiful?
Look at that.
This is a squash that my husband grows. It's called a romanesco, and it's got these ridges. So when you cut it, it's like a ratchet. It looks like a ratchet.
That'll be
it's nutty. There's a nutty flavor
that'll be
to
tonight's
for roasting.
This is great, with pasta, or you could stuff it, roast it, you could marinate it. But you know what I did recently with this? I did a zucchini roll. So what I did was, I just sliced this up very thinly crosswise on a mandolin. So it was very thin slices. I put a piece of parchment paper down on a baking sheet with a rim. Then I tossed these slices with olive oil and a little bit of oregano, salt, pepper. Then I lined them in the sheet, covered the whole paper. Then I beat up some eggs, and I had cheese and spices. I poured the eggs over the top of all of this. I baked it for about 12 minutes, like a jelly roll. Then I took it out. Then I layered it with some prosciutto and some cheese. And then I started at one end of the paper, and I rolled it up. So now it looks like a jelly roll. Put it back in the oven for about 10 minutes. Sliced it crosswise. You can find this recipe by going to the Ciao Italia website or on Instagram. And it just was a novel way to use the eggplant. So this is a typical Italian variety.
Okay, so now we have. This is a.
Yes.
The best tomato ever.
These are. That got a little juicy there.
That's
but,
okay.
People will go to a farmer's market and they'll see a tomato like this that has all these.
This will be eaten, by the way, on the way home.
Okay. That have all these ridges, and they won't buy it. You know why? It doesn't look like a tomato. It's not smooth.
Right.
This is, people's concept of what vegetables should look like is kind of restricted.
Yeah.
Right.
Because this is a Fiorentina type tomato. It's a salad tomato. And it's just, what can I say?
I'm a big tomato. I can eat tomatoes all day long.
Yeah, I have a vegan sister, and I made a soup for her with fresh corn and tomato, and I had so many of these that Marianne and Guy had shared with me that I put some in the soup. And her husband was coming later, and she said, "Can you make it again for him?" And I had to call Marianne, "Can I get any more tomatoes?" So it's that those tomatoes are incredible flavor.
So you and Guy have fun. You have fun doing this stuff. It's work, but you like being out in the garden. You like getting your hands dirty.
It's big. As I say in the book, the garden owns you.
Yeah.
It owns you because you've got to be there. You've got to keep after it. You can't just say, "I'm going on vacation now." We try to work that in here and there, but
I have the most vivid, fondest memories of growing up, and it's funny, we all grew up in the city of Lawrence. The city of Lawrence was a lot different 65 years ago.
Yeah.
It was, we grew up I grew up in a 9-square block of Italians. There was no non-Italians. So every summer we used to go, my grandmother and grandfather had what they called the farm. Now, we would think that we were going on like a trip, right? The farm was 2.5 miles from the middle of the city.
Yeah.
And what the farm was, it was basically a shack that my grandfather built with an outhouse. God's honest truth. I mean, and they were all old Italians that had bought these little parcels of land.
Yeah.
And we had the little shack, the outhouse, and then a half acre of a garden.
Yeah.
That's what the whole thing was. And I have such fond memories of just going out there and helping my grandfather row after row after row with the tomatoes and the peppers, and then he had the grape leaves all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were actually 2 miles from the house, so we thought we were going like on vacation.
Yeah.
I see it's in your DNA. That's,
Yeah.
You
No, it
can't
was
escape it.
Absolutely fabulous, fabulous memories. And then, being Sicilian, there are some funky dishes, that Sicilians cook.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
You mean the stigiole?
Yeah, tripe. Now, I'm a tripe guy. I like tripe,
Yeah.
but a lot of people don't want any part of tripe. I like tripe. Do you know what zuzu is?
No, it's a dialect word. What does it mean?
It's a Sicilian, kind of like a gel that they made in Sicily, consisting of pig's feet and lemon juice and some kind of a gelatin. Everything congeals, and you dig into it, and you have some pig's feet, you have some pork, you have some all kinds of stuff. That was a big part of my growing up. And then of course Crispelli's. I think you had a Crispelli.
Yes.
You had Crispelli.
Yes.
Now at the feast, Peter Messina, one of our members, he's retired. So he did. He sold off the recipe, and the Crispellis will be available at our feast this coming weekend.
Oh, good.
So we're really, really excited about this. We got. We're just about out of time, man. I can't believe that. All right. The name of the book, please. The name of the book is Ciao Italia: Plant, Harvest, and Cook. Marianne Esposito. Everybody knows Marianne. The book is going to be available in November.
Yes.
But you can pre-order it now.
You can pre-order it now. Go on the Ciao Italia website.
Yes.
Oh, yep. Go on the Ciao Italia website and pre-order that book. Or you can order it through, can you order it through Pathway?
Yes, you can go to pathwaybook.com, and they have a website there. But we've got links on your page on our site and on your site.
Right, and there's a QR code right there, makes it real easy.
Yeah.
And when the book comes out, also it'll be available in every bookstores, Amazon, all that stuff.
Sure.
Right.
Thank you so much. We
Thank
love
you,
having
Tom.
you.
Remember, Parmesan versus Pecorino.
I know.
Thank you.
I'm not going to just go into Borelli's now and say I want some of that. I'm going to say, explain what the hell am I buying?
You need to see that stamp.
That's right. With that being said, you guys have a nice weekend. We'll see you at the feast. And remember, if you can't make fun of yourself, don't make fun of anyone. Have a great week.
Audio Jungle.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.